Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of ELEV8. We are your hosts, Mr. CJ Boyd and Jay Caraway in the building. So today we have a very, very special guest. I don't even like to call him a guest. I like to consider him an intricate part of this show. This is someone I think CJ and I both are intrigued with. He gives great advice. He has his own podcast, a host of them that he's phenomenal on and kills it. With no further ado, we're going to bring Mr. HRap in the building, and I'm going to also let him introduce his podcast and let people know how they can get in contact with him.
I thought you was talking about somebody else. All that nice stuff you was saying.
No, brother.
Man, I couldn't be family. I thought you was gonna hit me with the family.
Oh, definitely family, definitely.
Oh, I'm messing with you. You can find me at the end of the bench on YouTube. Just go to the THAENDOFDABENCH. I'm live on Tuesdays, every other Wednesdays, and I'm setting up some stuff for the Friday. I'm for the reboot of the Friday show, Rapping with HRap, where I just talk to people about their lives and whatever they have going on. And my show on Tuesday is primarily about community empowerment.
Yes, sir.
About letting people know what they can and need to do so we can be a better community. We can get the best out of what we do every day.
Gotcha. Absolutely. And I think that that's so important. It's so needed. I don't know if you were able to see the episode that I did over the B of A.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. The Bank of America joint when you had the two people from Bank of America. Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So my man that helped me with that, Josh, he has his things on Mondays where he talks about credit and motivating people, basically helping people understand how credit and money go hand in hand. But I was also talking with him off air a little bit, and what we come to the conclusion of, and I wanted to ask you this question, is do you feel like politics plays a part in those type of factors as far as credit, financial, and things of that nature?
You mean information being spread, or them playing roles in you being able to get housing and things of that nature? Because if the information being spread, that should be a communal thing. Your parents, and if your parents don't know, someone in your family knows. What we have to do as a community is be open to just have conversations with your younger people. Like if you are a successful member of your family, everybody in your family more than likely isn't successful. And even if you have a ton of people successful, we as a community need to come together and just say, hey, Justin, CJ, we need to go over our cousin Deborah's house. Deborah has 4 boys. She doesn't have a husband. Or our cousin Tyrone, he has 4 boys. We need to have us sit down with those guys and let them know that we have information and how we can help them. We need to be offering instead of waiting. What we do, it seems that we wait on people to come. Okay, not this Saturday, but I got a lot. This Saturday is full. That's my brother. That's my oldest brother.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk, but we have to. It seems that we wait on people to say, "Hey, well, you didn't ask me, but how do I know what you know?" You know what I mean? If I don't know what you know, how do I know to ask you? And then sometimes we perceive ourselves as more. We think I'm approachable, but that's your perception of you. That's not my perception of you. I remember I had an uncle. I played football and I played basketball, primarily football and baseball. He had a cup of coffee with the Spurs, and he used to try to train me, and he would tell me to do things. And I'm the type of person I gotta ask questions. Why you want me to do this? And he comes from the old school, and the old school is just do what I said. I was like, I ain't doing that. So I stopped playing basketball. So
man.
No, it's just like I ain't trying to hit it, man. And the things, later on in life, as life progressed, I realized, that would have helped me. But in his mind, I'm giving you the tools. But in my mind, you're just telling me to do mindless things. So we have to be more approachable to the people who we see need help. We have to say, hey, what's going on? I know this. And if you ever need it, let me know. And let them know. Don't be afraid. And then even go the extra mile and say, hey, make a phone call later on. Hey, I can still help you.
Right.
It seems as if we don't do that. Now, in regards to politics, in regards to property ownership, that would always be a political thing, like redlining. If you don't know what redlining is, redlining started in the early 1900s, and it put people in certain areas and certain towns, certain parts of the towns. And when you have people structured to be in this specific area, they can't get outside of what they would do is say, hey, like South Dallas, right? I got family in South Dallas, and I got family in Lancaster.
Lancaster, yes, sir.
Y'all gonna only be in this area, and we won't insure your homes if you step out of those areas. So you're stuck there. And then we get frustrated, we get bogged down with life, and we don't engage civically. And if we don't engage civically, then, like I said on the show Tuesday, if you don't engage, people always go, well, your ancestors died. No, your ancestors died because you had people fighting to vote, right? They want to vote because, let's just say you get attacked at home. If the sheriff is a member of the Ku Klux Klan, what good does it do to go to the sheriff? But if you're voting, if Justin, HRap, and CJ are voting, we can get that Klan member out of there and get a relatively honest person in there, or the tax assessor, or the recorder of deeds. These dudes assessing homes. Your home is only worth $10,000, but your home is really worth $50,000. That dude he could potentially be racist. That's why the lady up in the attorney general in New York is suing Donald Trump right now because he had things worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he was saying they were worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That's illegal. But you can vote those people out of office, and then you get a fair shot at life. That's why you have to be civically engaged. Otherwise, you get screwed.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say that, because I took on a new role within the banking world, and now I do first level officer corporate compliance in fair lending. So I'm seeing a lot of it within like bank employees as well as just customers that are like, hey, I feel like I'm discriminated against, or hey, I feel this way. And I was sitting down talking with my manager, which is in Michigan, but we had a little Zoom call or whatever. And it was Black dude, by the way, very, very well put together, very nice. And he explained it to me as far as here in Dallas. He's like, I don't need a MLK in this role. I need a Malcolm X in this role. And I've been told that, you can deliver on that. And, with that, it pretty much gives me the freedom and the range to really put the BS back in the executives' faces, right? Like, look, this shit ain't gonna fly no more.
Before you make a move in that position, I want you to do this. Go on Amazon if you got Amazon Prime, or you go to wherever and buy this book by Dr. King. It's called Community or Chaos. It'll change your point of view on Dr. King. When you hear the verbiage that he's using, that's not the curated version of Dr. King that you seen on TV. It's kind of like when you're in church, they make you believe that Jesus was just this soft guy. No, but Jesus, he's this warm, fuzzy guy, but Jesus didn't play no games. And when you read Community or Chaos by Dr. King, and Coretta Scott King, his wife, did the foreword. Please read that book before you make another move at work, and you'll understand why people need to stop saying, I don't need a Dr. King. When you read his language in that book, you're gonna be like, oh, this ain't the Dr. King I know. So read that book. You'll do yourself a great service.
Yeah. CJ, I feel like we had the floor for the first 9 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and give it to you since you put this together. So
it's cool.
For always. So
it's cool. No, I was just sitting back, just keeping game, man. I was listening just to two, educated brothers just talk, man. I'm always that kid in the background, like when the grown folks be talking, they tell you, boy, you need to, you know what I'm saying? You know, but you too old to be with like the kids. You know, I don't care about no goddamn Power Rangers and shit. I want to talk about, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. So so first off, I want to say, by the way, I was talking. I was watching HRap show with his son yesterday, and I think and for those that don't know, I will comment. I'll reach out to HRap and be like, hey man, you know, the father son dynamic he has with his kid, well, with his grown ass son, right? Because your son, like, what, he 29, he 28.
He just made. That's why, like 2 weeks ago, Justin asked me to come on, and that's why I couldn't come on, because I was hanging with him for his birthday, his 29th birthday. Well,
yeah,
the day
his
before
29th
29th birthday.
Okay, right. Yeah, his 29th birthday, and
damn, HRap started young.
I know, that's what I said. I said HRap
23,
young,
man.
too.
23, man. I was too young. I was 23.
See, you started at 23. I started at 24. Cause yeah, my son's 9. Yeah, he's 9 months. So at 24, yeah. But anyway, you said what?
I'm 52.
Yeah, you 52. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we'll be yeah. Actually, my mom is around. She's closer to your age than you are to my dad, because my dad's like 56, 57. My mom either just turned 52 or she just turned 51. I don't remember. She 1970. That's when she was born.
52.
But okay, right. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So anyway, but I was watching the show, you know, and I love the show. You know, it's just, I don't know, man. I just love that father. Huh?
Oh, that's my man, Slick.
Oh, okay, bet that. You know, but I love like the family dynamic like y'all got going on. Every time, and I notice in episodes, he'd be like, well, I ain't seen you in a minute. You know, Mr. Bob, like, you know what I'm saying?
That's
You
my
know,
dude,
because
man.
that's just right. You know, and that's really cool how y'all get to communicate and y'all still keep in touch. Because normally, you know how we do shit. Hey, once he 18, 20, or whatever, he got a job. Hell, you see him, you know, every now and then, you know, when he come over, you know, and they still talk. So I love that show. So, you know, shout out to HRap and, you know, just him, and just, you know, just shout out to that. But
you'll see Justin, man, when like me and BJ the same age as you and your boy.
Mm-hmm.
It never stops. He knows. Justin knows. It never stops. I remember when he turned 18 and we were sitting in the living room, because my family was still together at that point. We're separated now. But I'm sitting in the living room on his 18th birthday. I was like, yo, because his birthday is behind the school year, right? So he was a year behind, you know, because of his birthday. And I was like, yo, you know, I'm not your daddy anymore. He was like, what you mean? I was like, hey, I'm an advisor now. You're the grown man.
Yeah.
You don't listen to me. I say, you on your own. I say, you can get advice, but you can say no. And I've always encouraged him. Like, I remember this one instance at the house, and I was like, hey, you know, I could see he was frustrated. I say, speak your mind. And I've always encouraged, speak your mind. Don't be afraid to talk. And me and him got into it, and they got into a heated situation. And his mom was like, don't talk to your dad like that. And I say, oh, you're not talking to me like that. I say, this is two grown men talking. I say, let him speak. And then that's when he realized, like, oh, he wasn't lying. I can speak my mind. And we've always been good like that, you know, I get on him. I told him, I mean, and then, you know, here's a little advice for you guys. Since, well, Justin, your son is coming to that point, your oldest boy is coming to that point, and you got a little while. I told my son at age 11, 12, I said, hey, next year from here on out, you probably hate me till you about 16, 17. I said, then when you get about 17, 18, you'll understand. And He looked at me like, and then when he was about 17, he couldn't, man. Me and my son, like, he was like Tom and Jerry for a little while. And then after a while, he was like, I get it. I remember the exact question I asked him and my daughter. I said, when it comes to racial inequality, what do you, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you see the world? He was like, oh man, it's cool, man. About a 3. And my daughter was like, about a 1. I said, okay, just let me know. And I remember sitting at my desk at home, and my daughter came home first. She was like 11. And then a little while later, BJ was like 9. And that's when things start to turn. I never fed them. I did with my mom was great at this because my dad died 4 months before I was born. And my mom never gave me the answers to anything. Where like me and my mom would go through things. We was fighting just like me and my daughter do now. And my mom never answered questions for me. She just asked the questions. You know, like I remember once, and then we can move on with the show. I remember it was Thanksgiving one year. Me and Nicole got into this real bad argument. And we used to go to each other's family. You know, one year her family first, then we'll close out, then vice versa the next year. This one year we got into a real bad argument. I went left, she went right. I was hot all day. You know, I'm used to the jokes and everything. And I'm sitting, it's winter in Chicago, and in November, I'm sitting on the front porch with no coat on. I'm hot. And my mom just came out to the front porch. She said, "What's going on?" I said, "Nothing." You know, you know your mom not gonna let you just be sulking.
Yeah. Right.
And I was like, she's like, "What's going on?" I was like, Nicole, I said, "Nikki pissed me off." She said, "What's she doing right now?" I'm like, you know, in your mind, what kind of question is that? It's like, I don't know. She said, "I bet she's not angry," and walked right back in the house. Never said another word. I immediately went all the way down to normal. So again, it's just instead of telling you, she would always just ask the question and leave it. You figure it out from here. And that's the way it was. So, just remember that, try to remember that. Don't always answer the question for your children. Give them something to think about, and then they could think their way through whatever you are trying to get through.
Yeah, that's what I always try to do with my oldest. I try to make him think some of the things and really apply it as far as, hey, this is going to help you later on. It may be a situation right now and we can get through it, or we can, work through it or have a conversation that gets you past it. But now you have the tools where if it shows its head again, you already know how to handle yourself accordingly. You know what I'm saying? So it's not an ongoing thing. And it's funny that you say that as far as telling your kids to speak their minds, because I'm a big advocate of that. Like, you can't say anything that's too far left unless you decide to, try to cuss me out or something. But other than that, like, if this your emotion and this what you're feeling, I want you to be able to express it and stand up. But I'm going to make sure that I direct that energy in the right way, so you understand and know that, okay, I can always approach him, like you said earlier.
It's a cherry pop, man. It's not beer.
Hey, hold on real quick. Just say, hey, HRap, you said that on your, literally last episode, right? Then you say that, then you was telling, so see, I be watching you, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, just say it. Right. But I'm sorry to cut you off, Josh. If you still have something to say, I was going to,
good.
Yeah, my bad. And I'm, what I'm saying, I had to give my son, he was tweaking or whatever, but gave him back to mom. But by the way, that's my only one and only. I don't got no other side kids. That's the only one I got. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so the topic at hand, and this is why I wanted HRap specifically. Right? Exactly. No. Hey, real talk. So checking in. And I know he commented, he said checking in is necessary. And then he said that in his show, HRap was saying, hey, it's necessary, you got to check in, and I wanted him to elaborate a little bit, but I did want to go ahead and I wanted to maybe let you know about what I got going on as far as what I mean by when somebody say they got to check in, and then Justin can go, or, and then you can maybe, because HRap is obviously from Chicago, and Chicago, hold on, Chicago, New York, LA, Florida, Miami. I think you know what I'm saying? If you ain't checking in with the right person, basically, hell, Houston, that's Houston.
Fast town. Houston a fast town.
No, Houston is a fast town. If you ain't checking in with, you know what I'm saying, then that could possibly be your ass. But so here's why I wanted that. I'm gonna go first, and then So and the reason why I was talking about checking in, because we was talking about PRB P&B Rock, which was our last week's episode. And the reason why he passed away, which I feel like he was talking really, really reckless. You know what I'm saying? He was talking reckless. And P&B Rock is from Philly, which is not too far from where you're at, actually, HRap. You know, he ain't, you know, he's out there in the East Coast, so he's from Philly. Went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Y'all know what happened. And he was talking reckless. And I was saying, you know, with this whole check-in mentality.
Well, let the people know, CJ, what happened.
Yeah.
We know, but they might not.
I got you. So P&B Rock was talking reckless to LA Goon, which was serious. He said, "Hey, where you at? I want to know where you at." You know, he's out there in Philly, and you know, P&B Rock talking mad shit. He like, "Yeah, you want to beat me? Yeah, you my son." And if you from the East Coast, that lingo talking about some "you my son," nigga, boy, you don't want to say them words. Talking about some, "Oh yeah, I'm you know, these niggas want to beat me or whatever," right? Anyway, he went to LA, went to Chicken and Waffles. Went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles with his lady. Lady put up the location, put up the low, and within 30 minutes, got shot, robbed, and killed because they took jewelry off him. His lady was wearing jewelry, but they ain't taking no jewelry off her. They shot, killed him, took his jewelry, you know, doing all them things, you know. And part of that was I was like, damn, you know, maybe in that instance, he probably should have maybe checked it. Because when you talking reckless and when you in somebody else's neighborhood, you know, you may possibly, in which maybe HRap can maybe educate us on what checking in really means. Because I found a lot of loopholes when it comes to this whole checking in mentality. And I wanted to bring up a popular apartment complex within Chicago, i.e. O Block. I heard and I read it just got sold, which I need to probably maybe do my research to whoever. And it's a lot of O Block, quote unquote. I ain't even gonna say quote unquote. It's probably some real niggas up there. Actually, time out. Actually, it's real niggas everywhere. So it's probably some real niggas out there in O Block talking about some, "Hey, you gotta check in with me before," you know what I'm saying? And the reason why we having this conversation is because why do us as Black people feel like somebody else got to check in somebody's either neighborhood, territory, state, whatever it is? Like, why we always got to check? And if we don't check in, it's an issue. Like, they like, "Hey, well, shit, hey, well, you ain't check in with such and such. So if you ain't check in with him, shit, what you doing here?" And then I'll leave the rest, you know. Now, whoever, Justin, if you want to take it away, HRap, if you want to take it away, I'm kind of done saying my piece, and then I'll respond to whatever I got going on. Okay. So go ahead.
Well, for me personally, I feel like it's more of the crab in the barrel mentality, right? Now, I get it. With street politics, there's certain do's and don'ts, right? So if I'm going to certain areas and I know people don't know me, it's probably in my best interest not to go to those areas, especially if I have a little bit of fame or I have something that I know people desire, such as jewelry, fancy cars, you know, the latest shoes or whatever. If I know that those people are in those type of environments, why am I going over there to begin with? If it's no money over there for me, if no opportunity for me to really have something set up as far as giving back to my community or giving back to those areas with no security, you asking for things to happen, to be quite honest. So that's why I said, I mean, in a perfect world, which we all know we don't live in, we would like for it to be a perfect world, but the reality of it is you got to move smart. You got to be thinking. You got to know and understand that everybody doesn't like you. Everybody isn't happy to see you succeed or do things or accomplish things in life. Some people are just waiting for that. I'm down on my luck and this person got it. Guess what? It's going to make me, I want it. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't got nobody with him. He ain't got no security with him. Whether you checked in or not. In that situation, let's say he did check in. Wasn't going to stop the dude from killing him. You know what I'm saying? what? I got an answer to this other man? Like, I'll kill him too. What does it really matter? You know what I'm saying? And the popular thing going around right now on Netflix with the Jeffrey Dahmer show. You think any of his victims had to check in Wisconsin? Hell no. Dude that got away was from Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? You think he made let me check in, hey, let everybody know I'm coming in town. Keep the crazy white boy away from me. Like, hell no. It don't matter. So it's really like the example I gave last week's show, man, when Bush got hit with the shoe. And you look at that and you say, man, that's the most powerful position in the world. But still, somebody felt the need to really express themselves and throw that shoe. And that damn near got him. Now imagine if it was,
he was quick.
Yeah, Bush.
Hey, Bush was in there. He hit him with a 1-2 with a little, you know.
Hey, he learned something. He learned something from Harvard right there. That he just showed you.
Might have been on the boxing team.
Hold on, right quick. Hold on, right quick. And I did my research on the quote unquote checking in mentality, and I'll just back in the day. I mean, this is just common history. Back in the day when you had these pharaohs and kings, either in Africa or even before even then, just when you had a popular figure, way back. The quote unquote check in, you can't be another king or another prince and then just pull up into another king and prince. You gotta, you say, hey, I'm from such and such land. I'm from this, that, and tribe. Let me get with this, the head tribe of this man. And I'm using like African slang, like, hey, I'm here, let's do what we gotta do. Just make sure, your people in your kingdom, they ain't tweaking when I get here. Because I'm a popular figure in my kingdom. You know what I'm saying? But my issue with checking in is you have people, and that's why I brought up O-Block. O-Block about to be sold, and I don't, like I said, I know it's about to be sold, but from what I read, and the HRap can correct me, it got sold in September, that's the month we in now, and literally everybody gonna have to either dip or do whatever they're gonna have to do. They just got sold. So my thing is the people that's talking about you got to check in when you come here with me. First thing first, everybody, all these famous people that come from O Block, and I'm not just saying O Block, just from whoever neighborhood you saying to check in. Why didn't you buy that street? Or buy that street, buy that land, buy that property. So that's truly yours. And then secondly, why is it that I feel like another black man got to check in where another black man is versus all these white, all these Mexican people? They can slide through the city, but shit, let's say if I was a rapper, let's say I slid through the city and hold on, big dog, hey, you ain't check in with. I'm like, hold on, nigga. Eminem done did a show here. Goddamn Ben. I said Ben McLemore. That nigga played for the he played basketball. Ryan McLemore done slid through the city. He ain't had to check in. Like, what's the deal with that? That's kind of my only deal with, the whole checking in mentality. But go ahead, HRap, they got a lot to say. Go ahead and, break it down for me.
Okay, let's start with this O-Block thing. Okay, first and foremost, man, the reason those street dudes ain't buying O-Block because the money that they obtain, they would have to purchase that. You need to be able to show, like Justin in the banking situation. And I could just show up at Justin Bank with $4 million and say, I'm buying this building. They're going to want to know where I got the money from. That's the first thing. Second and foremost, what I want you to understand is stop, and it's not a scolding, but don't downgrade this street thing because, like, you spoke glowingly of thousands of years ago when people had to check in. When you go to Spain, you had to check in with Caesar. When you go to England, you had to check in with that family. Wherever you go, you have to check in. The checking in concept is not new and is not Black centric. It is a show of respect. If I'm in Dallas and CJ or Justin is the street guy and I call myself a player, I'm checking in with Justin to say, for one, I'm checking in with Justin and CJ to say, hey, I'm visiting your town and I'm not here to invade anything. I'm just here. I ain't here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. That's the check-in, so you won't feel threatened, because when you have another player show up on your territory, you thinking, well, slow down, homie. What you here for? And that cuts down. See, the check-in is a show of respect, and no matter where you at, because when Capone came from Brooklyn to Chicago, he had to check in. He had to check into the Northside game. When wherever you go, you have to check in. If you are in that lifestyle, you have to check in. You remember last night, I mentioned wolves.
You did, yep.
You're dealing with wolves, and every wolf had every pack of wolves has a leader to that pack, and you don't just show up and I'm the lead dog unless you're ready to tangle. So the check-in thing is to also let people know, hey, I don't mean any problems. I'm just here. Hey, CJ. Hey, Justin. I'm in Dallas. I know y'all are heavy hitters. I'm just here to show my face and enjoy what y'all had to offer. And then protection is afforded to you. I think that was Eric who just mentioned this drill music thing. Now, the drill music thing, ain't no check-in with that, because let me ask you this. I was in Dallas in August.
Yeah.
And I've been on my podcast talking about jumping on Justin and whooping you. Ain't no check-in, man, because you violated. See, you can't shoot off your mouth and show and without loading up your brain. See, you disrespecting these people, and then you're gonna disrespect me in front of the world, because if you're this major star or low-level star, the whole world heard you disrespect me. Just like the young boy that looks like a clown. What's his name? He went to jail for a little while, snitched on everybody.
Tekashi
6ix9ine, yeah, Tekashi 6ix9ine, yeah.
In the streets that I grew up in, they wouldn't kill him today. They would kill him in 4 years when the media died down, and then you find him. As we say in Chicago, he'd be changed. See, this thing, man. This is where I say this on my show regularly. The people that were born between 1960 and 1979, we dropped the ball. We didn't raise these young men. Remember when I was at the early part of the show, I said we need to be walking up on young men. We need to engage with our young people, our nieces, nephews, cousins, neighbors, and letting these young men know how to be young men, teaching them the rite of passage. That way, in the event that something nefarious goes on, you can come to me. Hey, I got into it. Can you help me? And then I can call. But I can call whoever I need to call so you can get home safely. It may not be that your life is no longer in danger, but because of who my reputation is, people won't approach you now.
Right.
So the check-in thing is necessary, and it's not a black thing, because just understand, MS-13. If you come from LA and you a mover and shaker, you better check in with MS-13 when you get to Texas. When you are on Taylor Street here in Chicago and you coming from New York, you're gonna check in with them Italians. When you're on 21st Street here in Chicago, those Asian guys, they need to be taught. It's somebody in the Asian community you need to talk to. See, we get caught up in this thing, and we tie nefarious activities and criminality to us. We on TV the most, like Chicago. That old block that you're talking about being sold. That's why so many random acts of violence. We used to have what was it called? I can't think of the name of this project. It was from 21st. There was several projects. Stateway Garden. 21st, it was Stateway Garden, the Ickeys and the Dearborns. From 21st Street to 59th Street in Chicago. It was more people living in those projects than lived in the state of Rhode Island. They knocked those projects down and put those people all over the city. Now you got people who say, I'm in this gang, but they living in the middle of another gang. And that's why so many random acts of violence. Neighborhoods that I grew up in are no longer existent because the rich people came in, the University of Chicago, Illinois, Chicago came in and purchased all that land. Understand that it's a war going on, and you're the target. Though we had white flight in 1968, a whole bunch of people and, from Anglo-Saxon heritage, they moved to the suburbs here in Chicago. But when you live in the city, you are literally a mile and a half away from everything you want to see. The lake, all the pretty buildings, all the theaters and everything. And that's where we were living for the last 50 years. So what you do is you highlight specific areas. And Justin is in banking. He understands.
Redlining.
You redline, you decrease the property value. Rich landowners, rich land developers come in, buy that land for dirt cheap. And hey, Justin, I said it last night, and people, CJ said it last night, and I'm telling you now. Me and my brother my brother's in the chat room right now. Our grandmother's house is a crime lab right now. My other grandmother's house, my mother's mother, is a Costco parking lot. That neighborhood is not what it used to be, but those people who live there, they've been put in behind enemy lines in other parts of Chicago, and that's why those random acts of violence keeps popping up. Understand it's 1992. I'm leaving school, right? 917 murders. When y'all first start hearing about how dangerous Chicago is, it was 450 murders. So you talking about 30 years ago, it was 917 murders. Now we up, y'all going, good God. There was less people in the world back then too. So don't be scared or deterred, or misled, I should use the word I should use. Don't be misled by the news, because media, periodicals, and propaganda. They propagandize the violence in the city to make you think, man, HRap them up there crazy. Just like when I'm sitting in Illinois, all we know about Texas and Illinois is guns and football. That's all they tell. No, crazy people, guns, bigots, and football. That's what it is. And understand, do you understand? And me and Doc was talking about this when I was down here. When I was down there, me and Wilson was talking about it when I was down there. Do you understand the racial strife in Chicago is 10 times what it is in Dallas, Texas?
Wow.
10 times. Doc took me out on his boat. It's this dude, he had a Trump sign.
Hold on, time out. Hey, Justin, Doc got a boat.
He said, "You don't stop the man."
No, I'm sorry, man. You know what? That nigga. You know what? Go ahead, HRap. That nigga.
My man got a Trump sign, big as this wall right here.
Yeah.
And all he did was stare at us, and then he nodded, gave us a polite hello, and we nodded back. In Chicago, it'd have been a problem. Do you know it's sponsored Chicago right now? I can't go over there without getting a brick thrown at me right now. Today, 2022, my man Kirby told me the story that happened right before COVID. They suited and booted. They stopped at this sandwich shop in this one neighborhood, and 15 white guys showed up at the sandwich shop and sat there and watched them eat. I didn't get that when I was in Texas, but you get it in Chicago. But you don't hear about that in the news. You don't hear about the Laquan McDonald situation. You don't hear about my man Dana did 22 years in the penitentiary for a crime that I know he didn't commit. He's sitting there for 22 years. He said he was sitting there so long, the first 7 years he questioned himself. It's been over 10,000 people let out of jail in Chicago because it was this dude, this Terry Henry Hand, the dude who killed Fred Hampton, was beating fake confessions out of people. So don't get blindsided or brainwashed by the media, because understand the media. 1981, Ronald Reagan changed what's called a fairness doctrine. That meant, CJ, you can't own NBC radio, NBC the Dallas Morning News, and you can't own the biggest radio television station. Now you can. Rupert Murdoch owns radio station, TVs, and newspapers, and now you can put out whatever you want. You work for the Washington Post. I used to work for the Washington Post. Now, what's my man name? Elon Musk. He owns the Washington Post. So are you really gonna do investigative reporting to tell that your boss is doing nefarious activities or undermining things or insider trading or whatever he could be doing? No, you're not gonna do that, because he's not gonna finance his demise. So
they buy that for control. That's exactly all that is. It's
exactly
just
like my man Omar, me and Omar. Look, man, let me tell you something. People think Chicago dangerous now. Yes. Oh yeah, Dana did a quarter. Thank you, Dana. I'm Slick. Me and Omar grew up in a neighborhood that I'm probably suffering from the trauma of it now. Like, he knows this situation when Black Nick got killed. It was a segment of our neighborhood called the Blacktop. When the sun went down, if you walked across the Blacktop, you were going to get murdered. It was no, you may get murdered, you could get murdered, you were going to die. And when Nick died that night, everybody's like, oh man, not Nick. And then they say, where? On the Blacktop. And it was like, oh, well. I mean, me and Slick was on the back. I think Slick was out there. One night we on the basketball court. This is now, everybody talk about how dangerous Chicago is now. Exactly. Yep, there it is. 9/11 Hustle, the Heat. That's the Blacktop. I think Slick was out there. We shooting ball. I pull up for a jump shot. I'm left-handed. It's the left. But pull up for a jump shot. And the ball got shot out the air. We ain't even run. We walked away. Like, we were like, they shot my ball, man. Me, Slick, Drag, Sean, and Ant used to be like, hey, man, let's hurry up and walk through Casa Fields and go to Sammy's before they start shooting. That's the Chicago I grew up in. So the Chicago y'all hear about on the news, it's nothing. Hey, bro, I could get beat to sleep for wearing this shirt in Chicago 30 years ago.
HRap, and then just you can go HRap. Now here's the thing. Now, real talk. I didn't obviously. I'm a Texas. Me and Justin are some Dallas niggas. Dallas, Texas. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
correction. I'm from Garland.
Hey, you know what? Hey, okay, bet. Hey, Justin is from Garland. I'm from South Dallas, and then I moved to Lancaster. That's why, you know what I'm saying. But on a real note,
that next one, Justin.
There was
facts.
Hey, HRap. So I was stationed in a U.S. military. So I was in Chicago for a little bit. I was in Chicago for like maybe 2 or 3 months. It was very close to Springfield, you know, Ohio, which I don't know how close that is, you know, to you.
Not close at all.
Okay, got you. So I was next to like the Great Lakes in Chicago. Like I was next to, you know.
You were in Great Lakes, Illinois.
Right.
You were about 35 miles north of Chicago.
Right. So I seen all the beautiful things. By the way, Justin, hey, your cousin sending me pictures of his boat. I'm gonna have to check that out on my other phone. So I'm gonna have to really get with him because I ain't got the invite to go to the harbor out there in Rockwall where you at. But anyway, you know, it was one time I was like, you know what, man, I want to really experience Chicago. Mind you, I'm 25. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly, yes, the Great Lake Naval, but exactly, yes, ma'am. So I was out there and I was like, you know what, I really want to go to like Chicago. You know, I'm trying to be really out there. And I remember I went to this little pizza joint. Everybody kept talking about. It's called Nancy's Pizzas. Hey, you know what? Hey, if that ain't if that's not authentic, then that's
no, it's authentic. But it's like okay, saying Nancy's Pizza in Chicago.
Hey, Nancy's was the shit when I went there.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't good, but trying to equate it to Chicago is literally like saying Forney, South Dallas.
Ah, damn! They had me on the white side. Hey, no, you know what? Hold on. Here's how shit should have known it was some bullshit. This essay nigga I used to hang with that. Now he was quote unquote from Chicago. This nigga was named 63rd Oak Block, 64th Street. I'm thinking he a real Chicago goon. I said, hey man, you know I want to experience some of the Chicago, right? He said, but I'm gonna take it to this one place, right? I kid you not. I remember this one time, you know. because like I guess I may talk a little differently than the Chicago people. I remember it was some Chicago niggas, like some Chicago niggas. And y'all got that accent, or maybe the younger dudes got the accent. It was like, Saifo, where you from? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit, I'm from Tech. I'm like, yeah, I'm from.
They're stand down then.
Right. But then tell me why he literally told me, he was like, Saifu, hey, bro, you can get killed for wearing, Now, mind you, I thought I was so fly. Now this meant that that active duty check was hit. Hey, I had the ones on, and I had me and I got it in my closet. It was the Michael Jordan replica 23 jersey. Hey, I thought I was in that. Look, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I had the whole fit on like I was about to suit up, and you know what I'm saying? And so then this one dude, he was like, say, man, you come to my side, man, we take that shit, right? I looked at this nigga like, I was like, I'm not a Justin big guy, but I mean, this is before I had the hands. I'm a wrestling nigga. So I'm on a one-on-one. I feel very confident. But I seen him and his homeboys. All them niggas with dreadheads. They had like guns or whatever. Like they had. I said, oh shit. Which I don't care. If you got hands, this ain't no Bruce Lee movie. You can be in here kicking one nigga and doing the spin. And then he was, and hold on, time out. And so then he was like, Saiful, hey, bro, you better check in with my big homie. Otherwise, you fuck around. He kept, I was like, nigga, I'm 20 years old in the Army, bro. I'm like, mind you, this 5 years ago, because I'm 25 now. I'm like, nigga, I ain't checking. Is anything? And so then he was, all right. Bet, yeah. And then he walked away. He was like, all right, bet, yeah. So such was going to get with you. And I told my boy, I ain't going to lie. I said, get me out of here today. Hey, we took that Nancy's pizza to go. I said, get me out of here because, hey, it don't take two. I said, nah, I ain't about to wait. I said, call that Uber. I'm not trying to play with that. But here's my thing about checking in, right? Let's say I check in with one dude. Normally in the great state of Chicago, it's like maybe 20 niggas I gotta check in with. I check in with one, then I check in with somebody else. Like you see what I'm saying? I'm like,
the check-in thing. The check-in thing is not like that. You can't. It's too many players to check in. Traditionally, and when you're doing this check-in thing, man, it's because you're a wolf. And 99, like when I was coming up, I don't know what the kids doing now. It's been so long since I've been outside. But when I was 25, they step to you. They did exactly what those young boys did, right? But what would happen was you'd have said, "Yo, man, I'm from Texas," and they'd have said, "Stall him out." They'd have left you alone because they didn't like the rapper Razcast?
I do. Yeah.
Razcast is on my show. And Razcast, he had his hat turned to the left, but he was in this neighborhood where turn to the left means I'm on another situation. And the dude looked at him in the restaurant. And when he came outside, it was 25 guys standing outside waiting on him. And they said, "Hey, man, what's your problem?" And he said, "Yo, I'm not from here." And he said, "Oh, okay, well, fix your hat, and then you can go about your business." See, the thing is, I can't speak about these young boys now. But when I was outside, once you understood that this dude was not a part of that street situation, nobody would bother you. You were cool, because civilians didn't get touched. Now these boys, back then, only time you use firearms when I was coming up, when you were about to commit a crime. Proviso West High School, that's just west of where I am now. That's Proviso West. That's he thinking Proviso East. Proviso West is where the affluent people are. But yeah, so it was more the streets of Chicago when I was your age, Justin. As long as you didn't want to be involved, you didn't get involved. Now, if you want to get involved, you were gonna have a serious problem on your hand. See, like they'd have heard you, they'd have heard you say, "Man, I'm from Texas," and they'd have just advised you, "Hey, fix that."
Hey,
Because
man, fix that
caught
right
slipping
quick,
before.
man.
I got caught slipping before because it was color combinations. Yeah, Peraza West is in Hillside. Yep. Oh, that's Rhonda. I got caught slipping. I was walking down. I used to go to school outside of this neighborhood called Terrortown. Now, Terrortown had this gang called the Black Souls. And this is when starter jackets were big. And I got my Pittsburgh Steelers starter jacket on. And I got my Pittsburgh Steelers hat on. And this dude walked past me and said, "What's up, brother?" Which is not the gang that's over there. Folks was the gang that was over there. So when I heard "What's up, brother," I got little. I know I'm faster than everybody over there. I agitate the gravel, run up these stairs. As I run up the stairs, I ball up my coat and I sit on it. They run upstairs. They looking for me. I'm holding my breath so they won't see me breathing hard. They say, "You see dude in the Steeler coat?" I said, "Nope." They turn around. The train pull up. I wait for the doors to close. And I just held up my jacket and the train took off. So you get caught slipping. But you just have to be, what you do is don't put yourself in those situations. The dudes that you're talking about, CJ, you on the internet running your yap, you're going to have to deal with that dude. See, them cameras are not going to be there when those people come because they coming. Again, man, when you're dealing with wolves, like when you watch the movie, what was that movie? It was real popular for a little while. It was about the werewolves and stuff. The white boy. Twilight. Remember in Twilight, they had those wolves. And it was always that one big wolf in the front and the other wolves would stand behind him. The big wolf was there waiting for you to check in.
Mm-hmm.
And the little wolves would tear you up if he get a word. But if you don't deal with the wolves, you don't have to have those issues, man. Dude, you come to Chicago, CJ, I can take CJ, Justin, I can bring you out to Chicago right now and take you to some of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago, and you wouldn't even know that's where you were. Guess what? Right. Your former president lives a quarter mile away from the most dangerous neighborhood in America.
Barack Obama. Yes, sir.
So that's what I'm saying. If you looking for a problem, it's like, dude, I'm quite sure in South Dallas, if I'm looking for a problem, it ain't hard to find. But see, if you are part of this street narrative, there are rules.
Yeah, you got to accept what comes with it too.
Exactly. You run around with you shining, you stunting, and you talking. Either you know somebody, or you tell God I said hi.
Yeah,
and that's what happened with this young dude.
Hey, hold on, right quick, just 1 second, HRap, and then just you can go. You've been kind of quiet, but so I had to do some research on my. Hey, no, I was gonna say. Hold on. So I was for 4 months. I was out there in that little naval base, and I had to see the tickets to go. I had to go to my phone to Loyola. Right,
Loyola
University. Hey, hold on.
Ain't nothing happening up there.
No. Hold on. Hold on, right quick. Well, shit. Hey, real talk. This one night, I was talking to this little Chicago shouty, whatever. She. Oh, you in the military? I said, yes, ma'am. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Anyway. I was stationed there for so long. I'm like, man, I might as well give me like some season ticket. Hey, man, it's like when that active duty check was hitting. Hey, here's what I knew where I needed to chill out. I remember I bought, I don't know, was I trying to act like I was from Chicago or was I just really feeling the drip? I remember I bought this chain, not this chain, but I bought a chain. I was dripped out, and I remember this. The girl I was talking to, she was like, "Hey, you a little too, you a little bit too hot." I'm like, "What you?" I'm like, "Hey, yeah, yes, sir. Hey, but like, I'm like, shit, what's the problem?" I'm like, "Hey, I be in Texas on some areas. I can, what I'm saying?" So then she was like, "Hey, you may want to tuck in your chain, or you may want to, hold on, get this. Hold on, but I'm such a nigga. I'm like, I ain't taking in my motherfucking chain. I don't give a fuck about whatever. I remember, here's where I knew I made a mistake. I remember, and I'll never forget the game. They played Georgetown. I remember they played Georgetown. Hey, I remember as we were, I think I took homegirl to the concession stand. I'll never forget what this nigga looked like. He was like, "Say, fo. Hey, man, I like that chain you got on, fo. Yeah, man, let me go ahead and let me see what you on." I'm like, "Let me see what I'm on." I'm like, "Shit, nigga, I'm dripped out." You know what I'm saying? And so then he was like, "Oh, shit, you ain't from around here, huh?" I said, "And you know me, I'm a street, time out. I'm not a street nigga. I'm not a hood nigga. I classify myself as like a real nigga. I'm like, I'm around the way, but you know what I'm saying?" And so then he was like, "Say, you know what? Hey, like, no cap, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Boy, he was like, 'Hey, bro, you real fly right now, man. Real shit.'" And then he was looking at me like, he was gonna pop that lick on me.
No.
And then tell me, hold on, but you know what? But here's me not being from another area. And then I remember, I went back and I got the girl her popcorn and her hot dog. I said, "Man, some niggas low-key was trying to check me out there." He said, "Hey, I told you don't be coming out here too hot, because you got niggas that want what you got on." You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, I didn't know y'all was really out here, man. I was expecting that Bill Cosby, you know what I'm saying?
No, see, Justin, that ain't Chicago, man. That's everywhere in the world. Yep. You show up shining, and you ain't from here. Ain't gonna be no consequences for taking your chain.
Yep.
You gonna say, "Hey, what's up, partner?" And you gonna speak, and they gonna hear your accent. They gonna put their napkins on. It's time to eat.
It's time to eat. I like to say that. Yeah. That's how it was. But then that's when.
Come on, bro. Look. First of all, I ain't never been no jury dude, but I ain't shining. When I used to work in New York, and I used to go to New York all the time on the hip hop thing. I would have never been shining in New York. Never. I'm never. When I go down to the A, and it's damn near home turf. I got family on both sides of my. I got family with my mom's and my dad's family down there. Went to school down there. I'm comfortable. I ain't shining because you know what? I'm gonna have to hurt somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not Chicago, bro. I'm quite sure if I come down there dripping in Dallas, somebody gonna be like, "Let's get with his glamour." And so that was just a mistake on you. That's not Chicago. That's ain't no change in the world.
Hey, right. But you know what's the crazy part and the tied into what you and your son was talking about yesterday with that jeweler? It's funny how and I heard the whole thing how you was talking about with the opportunity and people, with the whole because they don't got what you have. You know what I'm saying? That they gonna do what they gotta do. But that's so crazy how us as black people.
See again.
No, it is.
No,
it is.
That ain't no black people. That's a poor people thing. No, that's not black people.
So. No, HRap.
So who robbing these white boys? Who robbing these white boys? Brothers going over the
white boys. Hey, the white boys can have a full tailored suit. They can have their little watches. They can have their Gucci bag.
And you don't think nobody robbing them?
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
Oh, it is. No, hold on, time out. So if they are being robbed, it's not being televised or it's not being
That don't
this,
mean
that,
that.
the
And guess
third.
what? I ain't a virgin no more. Up until the point I just told you, you didn't know that because it wasn't news. Just because it ain't news don't mean it ain't happening. See, stop subscribing to the people who want you to see. Look, man, understand this, Justin. I mean, yeah, CJ. I don't know why I keep calling you Justin.
Nah, you good. Nah, that's my big brother.
Understand this. We live in a situation to whereas the people who are in charge, they want people to not like each other. They don't want you talking to white boys. They don't want you talking to Latino people, and they damn sure don't want you talking to us because the people at the top, they need chaos to make things work. So if you scared of the Latino dudes because they'll cut you, and you scared of the white dudes because they don't like black people, and you scared of the Asian dudes because you know they don't like black people either, and now you even scared of black people, who you talking to? Who you building with? So don't assign crime to you. Because guess what, Justin? You're 25 years old. You are a prime target for get his ass by the police. You a 6'5", 25-year-old dude with a gold chain on. You are a target, homie. You are smack dab in the center of the kill zone. So, and if you think crime is attached to people like you, why you mad at the police when they shoot you?
That's a fact.
No, you know, and I feel what you're saying, HRap. I'm not retorting anything you're saying. All that I'm saying, and I'm just speaking to us. You know, we can't sit here and act like, yeah, I know what he was talking about. He ain't gotta, correct my man's like that. I knew what he was talking about when he said 25. Shit, I know he ain't talking to Justin. Just goddamn 37, shit, 36, whatever. But
all three of us in the kill zone. But you are a prime target, a big black man. And see, bro, you cannot keep saying we the only people that do this. Well, who just killed that Asian dude? It's an Asian dude that just got murdered. Who killed him? This Puerto Rican dude just got killed on the west side of Chicago. Who killed him? It's an Italian dude that just got killed on Taylor Street in Little Italy. Who killed him?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, do yourself a favor one day, CJ. Go to night court in Dallas. If they still have night court, go to night court. Boy, you'll be scared to go home. I had to bail out a cousin once at night court. White boy, Latino, Asian, white boy. CJ, we only make up, according to the paperwork, we only make up 13%. We only make up 13% of the population. So who killing everybody else?
I'm not saying that. All I'm really saying is that as far as us, why do I feel like, maybe you can correct me. Maybe you and Justin could correct me. Why do I feel like we have this anger as far as, and this kind of, bringing,
because that's what you're showing on television. That's what you're fed. Like, watch this. 91% of black people hurt black people, right? Black on black crime, right?
Yeah.
What's white on white crime statistics? I'll tell you if you want to know. 87%. So if we were in the same class, and I got a 91 on the test, and you got an 87 on the test, we get the same B, homie. And look, here's the worst part. We trapped in certain areas. They can go wherever they want. They still at a rate of 87%. So who crazier? People who are trapped or people who walk around freely and kill at the same rate? See, these are things that we don't talk about. And that's why we the only people do that. No, you the only people that pay attention to you. Right. Why haven't you never heard of white on white crime? Ask yourself that. Why have I never heard the term white on white crime? Because guess what? Watch this. Drive-by shooting. What's the first thing that came to your mind? What's the first thing that came to your mind? Black folks.
American, yeah.
But guess what? Drive-by shooting wasn't even invented by us. Drive-by shooting has been going on for 100 years.
Yeah.
and it was white boys shooting at each other then. YouTube white on white crime. Look, you see white on white crime. You see big white boys beating the hell out of other white boys all the time, but it ain't on the news. Ask yourself, why is it when HRap shoots his wife, HRap on there like this? But if Tom Sindoikis kills his wife, this Greek guy, that's a real Greek guy that I know, Greg Sindoikis, Greek guy, he kills his wife, they said a suspect has been apprehended and you never see him. I got an Indian homeboy, I mean, not an African homeboy, Nigerian. He said he came to America because he thought America was a 100% black country. All he knew was Right On Magazine, the Source Magazine, and Jet and Ebony. He said he got here and got scared of black people because all he saw on the news was black people hurting each other. Then he started hanging out with us, and then he started hating white people because they were lying. And then he started hanging with white people and understood. Look, man, it's the people at the top that are promoting this nonsense that black people are innately violent, and they're not. We're not. We don't have a patent on violence. But you know who got the patent on violence? Disenfranchised people. Wherever you at in the world, lack of opportunity breeds crime.
Yep.
You don't have the opportunity to have something, you do what you have to do to survive. Is it right? No. But that's the reality of the situation. So no, CJ, we don't do it more than anybody else. The story is told about us more than anybody else, but we don't do it more than anybody else.
Hey, I'll say it like this, and then maybe that can clear up, you know what I'm saying, as far as like what I was trying to say. Oh, I was trying to say really, and you know what, maybe this might not be for your crowd, but this is people I know. People have, and black people, that's what I'm saying, black people have a certain energy you'll have with another brother, but you won't have for the opposite race. You won't have that for a white person. You will not have that for a Hispanic brother. And my thing is, I'm like,
watch this.
Watch
this.
Ahead.
Let me interrupt you, please.
Please go ahead. Go ahead. You got
primarily, we identify trailer parks with white people.
People. Yes, sir.
Now, you know a bunch of them over there killing each other, and they saying, won't you go over there and kill them black people like that? Why would you sell crystal meth to your white brother and you won't go over there and sell it to them black people? Understand, you are sitting in your own gumbo. That's why it looks like your mess is worse. Everybody at the poverty line and lower are sitting in the same gumbo. But it's propagandized to make you think you're worse. It's life, CJ.
HRap, and a perfect retort. I get that. Hey, this isn't me not understanding the social, the whatever, the economic, the racial. I know Hispanics, Caucasians, they all have their own. Hell, with this, and you talked about it with that whole Brett Favre case. How it was us. Shit,
Michael Vick went to the toughest federal penitentiary in America for dogs. This dude just stole $5 million from disenfranchised people, and you ain't heard nothing about. Michael Vick was in jail in 90 days.
No problem.
See, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Black people don't have the damn recipe for violence and hatred, but it's portrayed that way.
We're some of the most forgiving people, and it shows from our history. Look at what our ancestors went through. You didn't see a lot of them saying, let's escape, let's get back to Africa. You saw a lot of them trying to make things better. You saw a lot of them fighting for civil rights movement, things of that nature. You know, that's what we come from. We come from a people that's loving people. You know what I'm saying? So this hatred that's being displayed within the media, that's all propaganda. That's all to show you that, hey, look, they're doing what they normally do, which is basically a learned behavior that we picked up from them. Because how you think they got America? How you think they got the Caribbean islands? It wasn't oh, we discovered this. No, you can't discover something when people are already there. You went and raped, pillaged, killed off people, and then you claimed it as your own and said, this is the new land. So that's where the violence come from. So you got to be able to understand that. And to HRap point, yeah, you're absolutely right. When you're in certain environments, when you want to express that, that's all you really know, because you feel like you're not being heard. You see that there's lack of opportunity. So you see someone that had the opportunity to get out and they come back in, you're trying to say to yourself, why are you here? I don't care about nothing else. I see an opportunity for me to get out of the situation that you already got out of. So you coming back here for what? It's
and you know, why you floss it for what? Not why you coming back.
Yeah, yeah. Because you look at Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? That was Black Wall Street was a black community. Greenwood was a black community that had doctors, lawyers, teachers, everybody that was successful that was black lived in that community. And what you saw out of that was the massacre. What you got out of that was white people that were jealous how this man got this, how this man buying a piano, how is this man affording the things that I can't even imagine to afford. And to be quite honest with you, I witnessed that before I moved into my home. When I was in Wiley, Texas, I witnessed white neighbors that were, oh, Justin, you're so well put together. Oh, Justin, where are you going? Why do you have a suit on? Do you have court? No, I got work, motherfucker. Like, but seriously, it's those type of things that honestly for me, and that situation didn't do anything but motivate me, because I was like, every time I get an opportunity to put it in your face, I'm gonna put it in your face. I didn't have to shine. I didn't have to have the J's on and none of that. It killed them to see me with glasses on and wearing a suit. It killed them to see me get up every day and go to work and come out and be able to talk to them and say, yeah, I'm having a house built. That killed them because they started asking those questions. How what type of loan did you get? Yeah, like seriously, like what type of loan did you get? How could you? Then it was beautiful when they say, can you help us get that? Mm-hmm. Can you maybe help me and my husband fix our credit? Mm-hmm. Then it was that like, oh, now you need me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Before you were scared. Before you felt like, oh, he must be doing some illegal activity. Mm-hmm. But then when you saw that I was on the up and up, it was, oh, now we need you. Right. So it's that type of mentality, and that's why I believe what Frederick Douglass said, it's better to raise strong kids than it is to raise or rebuild adults, right? Yep. So
it's easier to fix.
There you go.
It's easier to fix a wounded bush than to repair a destroyed tree.
There you go. So for me, that's why I look at it like, you know, CJ, me and you, and even HRap, like we have an opportunity to really reach our youth, reach not just our youth, but young adults, and give them the opportunity, give them the knowledge, and give them the tools to be successful. And you'll be surprised how many of them will really take heed to what you have to say and take it and run with it. You really will be.
And before we go, CJ, I want you to keep this in mind. When I remember when I first got to corporate America, that's when I truly realized, like Chicago's probably one of the most segregated cities in the United States of America. I went to an entirely black elementary school. I'm 52 years old. I've never sat in the classroom where the entire classroom wasn't 100% black. I'm a college graduate.
Wow.
I went to an entirely black I went to an entirely black preschool, Beacon House. An entirely black elementary school, William E. Gladstone. An entirely black high school, George W. Westerhouse, and Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia. Never said
Morris Brown still open?
Just got the accreditation back 3 years ago. Now my degree is worth something again. but understand that, you know, like I remember sitting there with an Italian kid, you know, Italian young man, or an Asian young man. They start talking about racial things, and that's when I realized that white isn't a real thing. A white person doesn't exist, because Italian dude, he called this one another Italian dude, he called him a Wonder Bread Wop. He said you're brown on the outside, but you white on the inside. They don't want to be called white. This Asian guy called an Asian kid a Twinkie, yellow on the outside, but white on the inside. We call each other coons. Same thing, same concept. So no, bruh, don't fall for the trap, because what you will do is you will shut out somebody just because they from South Dallas, or just because they from Lancaster, or just because they're from X, Y, and Z, or they could be up in Garland or in Forney, and you'll go, not my type of guy, and you'll miss out on the opportunity to meet a wonderful person. Just because. So don't assume anything when it comes to culture, because the difference in an intelligent person and an ignorant person is opportunity. Nobody wakes up and goes, I'm dumb and I'm enjoying it. They may boast in that matter, but when you show them how uninformed they are, it bothers them. The average human. We got some bums in the world. There's gonna be bums no matter where you at. You're gonna be bummed out wherever you at. But look, and then I'm done. I used to do this every once in a while. I haven't done it since 2013. But the last time I did it, 1978, 9.3% of the population were on drugs. 2013, 9.6% of the population. But you have been led to believe that it's this mass drug abuse and addiction thing going on in America. Less than 10% of the population. So if less than 10% of the population are on drugs, that means even less are doing crime.
True.
So how could it be that we have a monopoly on poor behavior and nefarious activity? So just keep that in mind, CJ. It's not just us. It is disenfranchised people, wherever you at. Remember a couple of years ago, the Olympics were in Brazil. Remember that? No, it was in Rio.
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro. Yep.
It's the murder capital of Earth.
Yep.
That's the murder capital of Earth, because it's a lack of opportunity. As the quote Talib Kweli, people don't sell crack because they like to see people smoke. People sell crack because they broke.
So I'll say this right here. Just a FYI. I've been a Dallas nigga literally from the day I've been born. And I don't know if you really pay attention in the group chat. I know you don't, but I made a mission because I was out there in South Dallas. Mind you, as you can tell, I done bought me a new whip, done bought me the Charger RT Plus. You know, that bitch orange. That shit really recognizable, you know what I'm saying? And I gave my food to a homeless man that was just digging in the trash. He said, I just want something to eat. I said, hey man, you can have my shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, like what can I do to help my people out? And just like how I listen to your podcast with your son, you know, I'm just now wanting to do the whole food drives and, you know, do whatever I can to better my community. And I also want to say, you know, with that, you know, I want to let my people and just the youngsters in general. Yes, we've always been put against each other. I mean, that's literally the Willie Nelson theory. Literally, the Willie Nelson theory. Yeah. Hey, I'm on this too. Hey.
I got you. It's good. It's good.
Hey, the really Lynch theory is only it's less than 100 pages long. It's like really what, 50, 20 something pages long. It's really, really short. Getting straight to the business, right? When I tell you, my whole point is I love to see us as a people grow, because that's what they want to see their people grow. It's also called ethocentric. I think that's a word, ethocentric, meaning, and this is a college where I just learned like yesterday when we was talking about the Native Americans and the settlers. Ethocentric meaning you just care about the well-being of your own people, whether that be racism or not. That's up to your own, you know what I'm saying? And this whole, when it comes to you only see black, this, that, and the third, you know, I listened to a quote from Shannon Sharp. He was saying, hey, and we was talking about the Brett Favre case with the whole stealing $5 million. He said most of the criminals, they think it's the people that be stealing them EBT cards and them. No, it ain't them. It's people that look just like him. Brett Favre been in the league for I don't know how many years. Packers legend, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever lived, stole $5 million off welfare off one of the brokest, one of the most poorest, one of the most poorest states.
The poorest state.
I'm sorry, the poorest state. Hey, if it's 50, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying? And he did that. And he got all the money in the world. He could have been did $5 million. He done made over $100 million just off the Packers deal alone.
Look, check this out.
Yeah, go ahead, HRap, go ahead.
First day of class, 1988. I'm a criminal justice major. My professor walks into class. He says, "Who steals the most? Poor people, rich people?" Everybody, just about everybody in the class raised their hand and said, "Poor people." He said, "No, rich people." And look, that's 30 years later. Bernie Madoff goes to jail for stealing from 1968 to 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Madoff beat the owner of the Mets out, beat him down to his socks.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I was stressing a few minutes ago. It ain't just us. We get the clippings. We get the newspaper.
Hey, we get the shit. Hey, HRap, we as a people, we get the short end of the stick because government be tripping when we do this whole shit for that EBT guard, which is what, only $400-500. The people that look like Brett Favre and these that was working with the governor of Mississippi, those are the real criminals. Which all I was saying from my point of view is when it comes to us, you know, it was this whole checking in, which I'll close it out, Justin, and then because I know in about 7-6 minutes we got to go, you know what I'm saying? But, and just my final take, when it comes to checking in, what started out as respect is, hey, I'm in your neighborhood, I'm in your whatever, you know, kings and queens in Africa. You can't bring a king, you know, you can't be a king in another king's palace without you saying, hey, like, you know what I'm saying? What started out back then is now became, it's a little bit different, but hold on, quick, HRap. It's a little bit different, but it's not so different as to far, like you said in the beginning, every other community is doing it. Like what you said with the Italians and the Caucasians, you know, when they come from New York, which I know that's a really big deal, which I could talk with out within itself with New York niggas and Chicago niggas. I definitely know. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with how it is over here on the South Side with Dallas and Houston. You would think we'd be like this, but Justin will tell you it's a little bit of a divide. You know what I'm saying? But it's not just a black and white thing. That's with the everybody thing. All I was saying is I wish us as people, as black people, don't assume it's just a black thing, which is absolutely not true. Because white people, even though some black people feel like why white people don't gotta check in, That's a little. They do gotta check in. They don't gotta check in with you because they may have to check in with somebody else. That's all I was trying to say with the whole check-in situation. It's not just a black thing. People feel like it's a black thing, but it's not. I guarantee you, with somebody, whoever comes to Houston, guess who they gonna check in with? Jay Prince. Ain't Jay Prince Jr., Jay Prince himself. We can talk about Jay Prince on his own merit, but go ahead and just, you can go ahead and, end it up. But that's kind of my final words. You know what I'm saying? It's not just us, everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, to sum up what HRap was talking about as far as the whole Brett Favre situation, comparing it to Mike Vick or comparing it to Colin Kaepernick that took a knee. It's a reason it's called white collar crimes. And keep that in mind when you think of things and when you see things that play out in front of your face. It's a reason that doesn't have as much media attention as it should be having right now.
But they want to talk about that Celtics coach.
Yeah, there you go. I was just gonna say that. It's sad that we know more about Nia Long and Coach Udoka, than we do about this Brett Favre situation. And
how about this? 3 of the last 4 governors in the state of Illinois are in the federal penitentiary. One of them just got out. Trump just freed one.
There you go.
So that's what I want to
even with him, we don't know what's going to happen with his case, his situation.
Right.
Honestly, to be quite honest, I'm anticipating nothing to happen there. But I did have a question for you before we jump off.
We got 3 minutes.
Yeah. Why is Hillside so different? I mean, we played a basketball tournament there, and I remember those kids like freaking out when Simeon or whatever came in.
Chicago Simeon. Yeah, I know.
Losing they shit. Like, I mean, you could see the fear on their face. Like,
okay, Simeon, or well, we call it Simeon, but it is Simeon.
Okay,
Simeon. No, that's just what we call it. Black folks call it Simeon. That's it. It's not it. Simeon is the biggest name in basketball in Chicago.
Okay.
Period. If you Jabari Parker, Derrick Rose, Nick Anderson, it's a countless list of things.
R.I.P. Bill Wilson, Ben Wilson. He came from
Ben Wilson.
But go ahead.
So it's the equivalent of, okay, I'll be fast. Chicago. You think Chicago is famous for the Cubs and the Bears and all that. Chicago famous for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And Simeon is the cream of the crop on the south side. And my high school, Weston House, Mark Aguirre, Eddie Johnson, Hersey Hawkins, cream of the crop on the west side. So if you are a big-time basketball player, 9 times out of 10, back in the day, you went to King, you went to Simeon, you went to Collins, or you went to Westerhouse. When we show up, you stand down, period. Mm. And that's why it's like, hey, King High School, Simeon High School, Westerhouse High School, Collins High School, and that's it, period. Yeah. Carver, like the White Shadow, or what like up in Queens, where Kenny Anderson and Stephon Marbury come from. That's Lincoln and Osh Marion. That's Simeon in Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, I wondered that because we had a tournament. I think that was 2002, and I mean, of course, I'm from Texas, so I didn't know. But it was just, everybody was just like, oh, like I'm like,
in the show, so they can start, and then we can keep talking.
But they play like us. Let me get out of here. Appreciate everybody for checking in today, man. Once again, HRap, appreciate you for being here with us. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump out of here. Good people, thank you for your comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the love that you give us. And we'll holler at you next week.